forth?
Sure. Congressman, the infrastructure for our forces, for our troops, quality of life, housing, and that sort of thing, that's mandatory that we do that all the time. We want to make sure that they got the best quality of housing. With respect to the defense industrial base and the shipyards, I think additional investment needs to be done over the course of time. It's not going to be done in 1 year. Our shipyards, for example, both commercial and naval shipyards have been minimized over the course of 20, 30, 40 years. That needs to be taken a hard look at, given the amount of throughput that we can produce naval vessels, 1.5 subs per year, that sort of thing. So we need to take a look at all the shipyards, and I do think additional capability is needed there. Then if you look at our bases that are stretched, we have about 560-ish or so bases around the world. Some of those are in better repair than others. Some of them have suffered significantly from either hurricanes or floods or fires or various natural disasters. So we've got to take a hard look at all of that, too, and to make sure that our infrastructure is up to par. But that's critical to the overall defense and national security of the United States.
General, thank you very much for us. As we put together this NDAA, we all too often spend our time and our money buying new, bright, shiny things and neglecting the ongoing sustainment of the various facilities. And as long as we do not put this as a priority, the readiness will not be there. And the GAO reports and your own reports indicate that that is the case, and we have to address it. With that, I yield back.
Chair, and I recognize the gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Lamborn, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Milley, thank you for your 43 years of service to our country. The Strategic Forces Subcommittee has heard testimony about how Russia, specifically Ware-Avant, is providing China with highly enriched uranium. China is going to put this into fast breeder reactors that will yield plutonium, thus accelerating the pace of their nuclear breakout. How concerned are you about Russia's role in assisting China's strategic nuclear breakout, and what do you recommend be done?
I'm concerned not only about that, but any coherence and cohesion between Russia and China in this particular strategic environment that we're in. We're seeing that where the two of them are getting closer together. I wouldn't call it a true, full alliance in the real meaning of that word, but we are seeing them moving closer together, and that's troublesome. And then if you add in Iran as the third. So those three countries together are going to be problematic for many years to come, I think, especially Russia and China because of their capability. With respect to what you just cited about nuclear capabilities and the transfer of capabilities, I'd like to go to a closed session on the specifics of that, but it is concerning, very much so.
Well, and we will pursue that more later. And as a follow-on, we know from recent disclosures that China now has more nuclear missile launchers than the U.S., and we also know that they're manufacturing more warheads than ever for themselves. And this is new since some of the posture hearings in the past or reviews have been done. So what do you recommend be done now concerning China's nuclear breakout?
China's nuclear capabilities are not matched with the United States. But when you start talking nuclear weapons, Congressman, I mean, these things are enormous payloads. So you got to ask the question, how much is enough sort of thing. So they have a significant capability, nuclear capability today, without going into specific numbers. They have a significant nuclear capability today, and they have intercontinental ballistic missiles that can range the United States. That is obviously bothersome. So we are in a situation now, as I mentioned in my opening statement, we are facing two nuclear-armed great powers. So the principles of the Cold War of deterrence still obtain, but now it's more complicated because it's 2 versus 1. And any time you have 3 variables versus 1 variable or 2 variables, it's a much more complicated situation. So strategic stability is essential that we maintain that, and we do that with China with an assured second strike. That's the best way that exists today with the technologies that exist. We are probably not going to be able to do anything to stop, slow down, disrupt, interdict, or destroy the Chinese nuclear development program that they have projected out over the next 10 to 20 years. They're going to do that in accordance with their own plan, and there's very little leverage, I think, that we could do externally to prevent that from happening. There might be some economic levels of power There might be other things in the intelligence world, but for the most part, they're probably going to step out. They have a national goal to be a global, to be the global co-equal with the United States and superior militarily by mid-century. They're on that path to do that, and that's really disturbing. That's really bothersome, and we're going to have to not only keep pace, but we have to outpace that, and that'll assure the peace.
Well, and a lot of us are concerned that the New START treaty was negotiated with the Russians in mind, and China was a minor,
That's right.
relatively minor player at the time.
That's right.
So-
That's correct. And I mean, there are arms control agreements and regimes, et cetera. But at the end of the day, all of those are good, and I support all of those. But at the end of the day, military power matters. And our military power has to always exceed that of China in all of the domains. And if we do that, then we have a better chance at deterring any kind of conflict with China.
Thank you, thank you. And we need to continue that debate on